Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Khoirzady Taqwa, and I'm from UIN State Islamic University, Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta, and my majority is English Education of Department, and I am fourth grade in A class. And this video, in this opportunity, I'm going to review some articles. There are 10 articles that I've read, and this review is based on the tasks that I have to do in this semester for extensive reading class. And uh, there are so many. There are 10 articles that I want to review in this opportunity. The first title is, before that, these 10 articles contains about English language, and then education, and then the diversity. This is three main talks that 10 articles mostly talk about. And then the first article is, the title is Context and Text. The second is Connectionist Models of Word Reading, and then Conceptual Tempo Studying and Reading. And the next one, Using Visual to Develop Reading Vocabulary, and then Effect of Text, Context, Gender of Listening, Comprehension, and Motivation. After that, there are the effectiveness of vocabulary learning via mobile phone, and after that, effectiveness of English song activities on vocabulary learning and retention. The next one is using grammar translation techniques effectively. Next, environmental risks and young children's cognitive and behavioral development. And the last one is racial or ethnic difference in children's access to care. There are 10 novels that I want to review, and then let's move to the first article. The first one is Context and Text. This article discusses the most important of context to comprehend what people wants to deliver to the other people. In here mentioned that different scholars have concentrated themselves on this different aspect of context and hold diverse perspective. It means that every scholars or every majority in maybe in school or in university, they have different context. It's also in every country they have different context in example in jokes and another thing. They have different perspective. So I think that the author in this article wants to find out the best aspect that make a strong perspective about this material. Let's move to the next. There is conceptual tempo studying and reading. This article is intended to discuss the relation between conceptual tempo and reading skills, especially on word recognition, because the author think that it will determine the comprehend of the students when they read some text. The study examines the relationship of conceptual tempo and performance by 6 grade reflect and impulsive subjects on several common studies and reading activities. In this article, it says that there are two students named or known as reflective subject and impulsive subjects. Uh, this article mentioned that the reflective subjects also it it can gain a higher comprehend in reading because they are good in conceptual tempo and reading skill itself. Uh, whether in the impulsive subjects, they are not as good as the relative subject, because they are not good enough in conceptual tempo and reading skills. Let's move to the next. There is connectionist models of word reading. Connectionist models of word readings attempt to explain the computational mechanism underlying these important skills. It means that connection models of word reading uh, uh, appear to explain the computational mechanism or the way to get these important skills. It is reading skills, and then the goal of this research is an integrated theory of reading, and it's brain based with the computational model as the interface between the two. The models are governed by computational principles that differ considerably from naive intuition, but nonetheless account for main aspects of normal and impaired dyslexic reading. It mentioned that these models of the connection models of word reading considerably by naive institution, and uh, it's like dyslexia. It's like someone who cannot good at reading or recognize the word or even the letter. The intended audience in this article is uh, the not for the junior high school or even senior high school. It's at least the college student, because it needs the high cognition uh, to comprehend this article or these materials. And let's move to the next. It's the third article. It is about using visual to develop reading vocabulary. This paper talks about results findings regarding vocabulary instruction and reading comprehension, and suggests methods to develop vocabulary using visual aids. The author wants to discuss this material because they want to concrete relation between visual experience and vocabulary development. These are the example of the exercise. There are interactive video, students' illustration or vocabulary, and the other. Let's move to the third articles. It is effect of text, context, gender on listening comprehension and motivation. This article intends to discuss gender effect on listening comprehension and motivation, to study and figure out, is there any kind of different ability in gender about listening comprehension. Based on this article, uh, there are different ability between men and women, boys and girls in listening ability. It mentions that girls are achieve higher score for the first pre-test and test, and also in the second pre-test and post-test. There are several activities in this listening comprehension, like listening to the video or listening to the music, and the conclusion said that girls are achieves more higher score than boys do. Let's move to the next. Article. It is effectiveness of vocabulary learning via mobile phone. This article want to discuss the benefits of usage of mobile technology in enhance EFR learning skills, such as mobile learning, SMS messaging, and so on. The result of the questionnaires shows that students in general hold positive attitudes towards learning vocabulary via mobile phone. On the other hand, technology's limitation, unfamiliar presentation, and learning activities may prevent students from reading SMS lesson. In this article, it says that uh, mobile learning have a good impact in enhancing students' vocabulary and retention of the vocabulary itself. But there are uh, some prevent that this is not the not usual method that they use, so that they unfamiliar with this method. Okay, let's move to the next article. It is about effectiveness of English song activities on vocabulary learning and retention. In this article, the author intends to discuss the benefit of listening to song on vocabulary learning rhythm that affects to the retention. The result shows that there were a significant difference between the pre-test and post-test. I mean the score of the student in pre-test and post-test. English spoke and based on this article, it's also said that there are development of the level of the vocabulary before they did the song activities. The level is like they assemble in the first level, and then they move to the next step to the level 2. So the conclusion is this method, these activities actually can help the students to develop their vocabulary. Let's move to the next. It is about using grammar translation techniques effectively. Actually, in this method, this is not the GTM or grammar translation method that we all know, that they're only translating word by word, but this article shows that they combine between grammar translation method and CLT, communicative learning, communicative language teaching, so that I think this method will be better, so much better than the GTM itself, because they have combined with the CLT that I know. CLT is, I think I can say CLT is the best method, because they can they have all of English skills such as writing, speaking, and the other one, another one inside of their methods or their education. Let's move to the next article. It is environmental risks and young children's cognitive and behavioral development. This article discusses about what environment can cause to children's behavior and cognitive development. Here, it says that social economic status, or SES, and chaos were the strongest predictors for the cognitive outcomes. So that social economic status in their family, or the chaos in their family also, in their environment, it can cause their cognitive status. Maybe the lower status of economy doesn't get a good education and get bullied in their environment. And furthermore, the behavior problems that more proximal parenting factors were also dominant. It says that the behavior development, the biggest effect that can change the behavior, it comes from parenting in their family. Okay, let's move to the last article. It is about racial ethnic difference in children's access to care. I think this is the most sensitive article that I review in this opportunity. The object study of this article is to examine racial and ethnic difference in children's usual source of health care and to gauge the extent to which they are related to difference in health insurance status, social economic status, and language ability. It says that in the article, black and Hispanic children are less likely get the sort of the sort of health uh, in their environment. I mean, the ethnic children that have black skin and had Hispanic usually have now big attention in their environment for health and care, and also in this article it mentions that the language ability, it also counts that black and Hispanic children is not get health care or education as much as white children get. So based on this 10 novels, there are uh, a correlation between one to them, the context and the uh, reading vocab, reading the reading uh, development. It's also uh, have to comprehend the context and text itself, and also when they have already mastering the reading and listening, they can uh, learn grammar itself because they have already more vocabulary. And for this the racial, it's the language can cause the social economy itself, so that we have to build our language ability. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.